I refuse to participate in a recession.
Bonjour, BNI Canada, time to restart the world.
BNI Costa Rica, es hora de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI Hong Kong, time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Guatemala, es el momento de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI India, it's time to restart the world.
BNI Japan、世界を再稼働させるのは今。
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI South Korea, 새로운 세상을 시작할 때.
BNI Malta, time to restart the world.
BNI México, es tiempo de reiniciar el mundo.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Sri Lanka, time to restart the world.
BNI Thailand and BNI Philippines, it's time to restart the world.
BNI United Arab Emirates, time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI Nederland en Vlaanderen. Het is tijd om de wereld te herstarten.
BNI Italia. Facciamo ripartire il mondo.
BNI Singapore. Time to restart the world.
I refuse to participate in a recession.
BNI ประเทศไทยถึงเวลาเริ่มต้นโลกใหม่ของธุรกิจ
BNI Guatemala, es momento de reiniciar el mundo.
BNI Uganda, time to restart the world.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ivan Misner, founder of BNI, and let's restart the world.
Hello and welcome to BNI's Restart the World. My name is Graham Y. Miller, Chairman and CEO of BNI. We are really honored to have you with us today. And with us, we have business leaders from around the world, visitors to BNI's Restart the World program. We welcome you, and we welcome, of course, BNI's members and leaders from around the world. We are broadcasting live in 70 countries in 12 languages, and we are really honored to have you with us today. And so I especially want to thank BNI's national directors from across the world for their co-hosting of this very special event. We thank them for their leadership and their support of the global business community. And I want to also congratulate BNI leaders and BNI members worldwide for an outstanding achievement this year. Already through the end of August, there has been over $10 billion in closed business for BNI members. That is a terrific stimulus package for economies around the world. That happened via over 7 million valuable new client referrals. And those referrals, of course, will keep on producing closed business and growth for those businesses. So we congratulate BNI members and leaders around the world for this terrific achievement already just through August of this year, and this number keeps growing. So congratulations. You know, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank are forecasting very challenging times, bankruptcies, recession, but it does not need to be that way. And so BNI's Restart the World program is an answer to the current situation. It is an opportunity for us to work together around the world to ensure growth, economic development, and the support of entrepreneurs and business leaders everywhere. So again, we are honored to have you with us today. Again, a special welcome to BNI's 270,000 business leaders who operate in 70 countries today. And so as we start this program, it is my distinct honor to introduce Dr. Ivan Misner, founder and chief visionary officer of BNI. He is a well-known author. He is known as the founder of Modern Business Networking. He is a friend and mentor to so many business leaders around the world. And so I would like at this point to introduce Dr. Ivan Misner to lead the program. Dr. Misner?
Thank you, Graham. I appreciate your kind words, and I appreciate everything you've done for the organization and especially for small businesses all around the world, particularly during this really challenging year. So we're broadcasting live. Let's get started. To restart is to reset, reopen, reboot, relaunch. This is the right mindset that we need to be in right now. Now, antonyms for restart, words that are the opposite, are to cut, discontinue, quit, abandon. These are words and feelings that will get in our way if we want to pierce the dark clouds of apprehension that are all around us. These words need to be cut from our mindset to truly, truly restart the world. We need to engage in the right mindset. To reopen, reboot, relaunch, I believe that one can take unprecedented circumstances and turn them into unprecedented success. And we do that through self-reflection, creating a future picture in our mind, and to listening to our mentors. I want to talk for a moment about a concept in adult education called transfer of learning. It is a theory that learning can be transferred and applied in totally new and innovative ways to different situations. Most importantly, it's about taking ideas and applying them to your own situation or your challenge. Think of the transfer of learning as a briefcase full of ideas that are given to you. You take that briefcase with you, you open it, and you apply some of those ideas to your situation through self-reflection and contemplation. Through that, you can unpack that briefcase effectively. So through this process of self-reflection, after this event today, you can find ways to apply these concepts that you hear and transfer them to your individual situation. That is how programs like Restart the World work. These events act as a catalyst for your reflection and eventual implementation of these ideas. You apply them, you apply the ideas that you hear through the programs like this by recognizing patterns or possible situations that will enable you to implement them outside of your traditional thinking. You're the person who knows how to apply the ideas you're going to hear today to your situation. And that requires reflection after this event. The truth is that if you do things the way you've always done them, you're likely to struggle. It's okay to be in love with what you do, but if you're in love with how you do it right now, you might become irrelevant. You've heard me say before that I refuse to participate in a recession. Well, today, I'd like to introduce you to 3 other people who refuse to participate in a recession. These 3 top BNI business leaders are passionately committed to restarting the world. And they're here today to share their vast experience and business insights. Our first panelist, Max Srinivasan, represents Asia Pacific. He's the president of global markets for BNI. Max supports operations for BNI company-run countries. He's a certified franchise executive recognized by the International Franchise Association. Max's BNI leadership journey began as an executive director for BNI Bangalore. He was invited to lead the BNI India operations 4 years ago, and the country is now one of the fastest growing in BNI. BNI India has grown from 9,800 plus members to over 36,000 members in a short span of just 4 years. His vision is to impact over 1 million entrepreneurs, grow and transform their business by December of 2029. I love that vision. Next, representing the Americas is Lorena Medina. She has been BNI's Mexico's national director since November of 2005, and she's been in the BNI market. She's been the BNI market manager for Latin American affairs. In this role, she supported the BNI Latin American countries through leadership training and counseling. Lorena completed her certified franchise executive credential in less than 1 year. By the way, that's really rare. And currently, BNI Mexico has over 125 chapters and almost 4,400 members. From the Middle East and Africa, we have on our panel BJ Shaw, the National Director for BNI in the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, and the Co-National Director for BNI Kenya and Uganda. In the past 15 years, he's won numerous BNI CEO awards for outstanding performance. He holds a bachelor's degree in banking and finance from the University of Wales and a master's in trade and finance from City University, London. BJ recently qualified as a certified franchise executive as well from the International Franchise Association. This is definitely a very diverse panel representing a large portion of the world. So let's start our discussion with a simple question for all 3 of you. And if you could simply state in a sentence or 2, what's one thing businesses can do right now to restart their business and to refuse to participate in a recession? And we'll start with Lorena.
Hi, Ivan. I would say that it was something that you were talking about before. It's about getting a mentor, and it's about peer advisory groups. That would be the one thing that I would recommend.
Great. BJ.
Thank you, Ivan. The one thing I would suggest is reframe. Reframe is about looking at a situation and looking at our capabilities differently.
Great. Mac?
I would say, Ivan, re-engaging with clients and referral partners.
Excellent. So let's go back to Lorena and then BJ and Mac and go into a little bit more detail. Give me a minute or so for the answer that you gave. And start with Lorena.
Well, I said mentors and peer advisory groups, but because that's what got me out of the hole, you can say. I when this whole thing started, I went through all the stages of grief, and what actually got me out of the denial and the anger was that I had a that I could rely on. And I have mentors from different countries in the world, colleagues that that we're in the same business. So that was crucial to me. So I could find a way forward.
Yeah, great suggestion, BJ.
I'll give a couple of examples. We have a member in Uganda who just launched a brand new brewery literally a few months before COVID hit. And then obviously nobody saw this coming. And when this happened, everything was shut down. All the bars and all the activity around people consuming his product literally came to a standstill. But he asked himself, he said, okay, what do I have? What are my capabilities? So he had a bottling line. He had the key ingredient to make sanitizer. And he literally pivoted the whole business into making hand sanitizers. And he's been doing extremely well. So that was one example. Another quick example, a member who is into team building events, traditionally in-person team building. And when this happened, of course, being a BNI member, she saw how we shifted online. And I had a conversation with her, and she literally pivoted her full business online because she had the strengths, she had the team who could do amazing stuff, helping people in team building, but it had to be done online. She's now very successful, and the amazing thing is the world is open to her now. She's not restricted to the local geography that she's based out of. She's actually getting calls from all over the world for her to launch events for other people and help them team build. So that's reframing, looking at the capabilities, what we're good at, and then looking at our situation and seeing, okay, what can we do differently?
Great, thank you, Mac.
Ivan, I was talking about re-engaging with clients, going back to the clients that you have done business in the last 3 months, going back to the folks that you did business in the last 1 year, and they have not, given you an order recently, just going back and reconnecting with them. You may not be asking them for business necessarily, but going and checking, hey, how are you doing? In fact, just yesterday, I got a WhatsApp message from a vendor that I had done business 4.5 years ago. Just saying, hey, Mac, how are you doing? And he's from a different part of the world. I said, wow, you're just making yourself visible now, re-engaging with clients, re-engaging with referral partners. One of my members in Chennai, he sent a testimonial the other day saying just this one tip alone by just re-engaging got him like 8 referrals that closed 4 orders for him in the previous week. So just going back, making yourself visible again in a soft way and re-engaging with them is very key right now.
Yeah, these are 3 great examples. Mentors, I think mentors are incredibly important. Lorena's suggestion, BJ, pivoting. Wow, it is so important to pivot right now, and Mac re-engaging. 3 simple sounding, but really critical suggestions for people to engage with right now. All right, next question. How important is having a positive attitude in making your business successful during these times? And I'll start with Mac on this one.
Ivan, it's so critical to have positive attitude. People get attracted like a magnet when they are seeing somebody with a positive attitude. And in order to do that, these times, it's very difficult to keep up that positive attitude because we're bombarded with news articles and things that are constantly bombarding us in a negative way. So one of the suggestions I have is surround yourself to recharge your battery, because we need to surround ourselves with people who are in the positive attitude, listen to music, some type of music like pep us up, and then read books. Surround yourselves with positive things. Ivan, there's this thing that's saying garbage in, garbage out. So if we put too much garbage in, only garbage is going to come out. So the thing is, as long as we're able to put in positive stuff and then we're able to attract more people, we become like the magnet for others. So only when you're able to attract people or they are willing to engage with you, build a relationship with you, that leads to referrals and revenue.
Yeah, very important. Really good point, Mac. Lorena?
I agree with everything that Max said. I do believe that it's like a magnet, and a negative attitude attracts negative attitude, and positive attitude attracts positive attitude. And the other thing that I would say about a positive attitude is that you have to tell the difference between positive attitude and just blind optimism. It's not just about, okay, I have a positive attitude, and if I just wait around, good things will come to me. It doesn't work that way. Positive attitude means to acknowledge that there's a problem, acknowledge that the situation could be very tricky and very difficult, but at the same time, the positive attitude comes with the question, what are we going to do about it? Yes, it's really bad, but what are we going to do about it? How are we going to solve it? And how we're going to move on, how we're going to pivot. So that, to me, that is positive attitude. And it's not just a blind optimism and putting a smile to absolutely everything.
Yeah, I think that a positive attitude is like a shot of adrenaline that keeps you going, and you're both, I think, right on the money. You want to avoid negativity during challenging times like this, which means stay away from the news, microdose the news, something that I've been talking about a lot. Great suggestions. Next question is, what is the most interesting trend that you've seen in 2020, which will help restart the world? And let's go to BJ on that.
I recently came across a report on e-commerce. That's one example. The number of people taking up and basically going online to procure and purchase their products and services that they need. In the last 90 days, the number of people using e-commerce was double the number of people who have been using e-commerce for the last 10 years. So just think about that. In 90 days, the take-up was double of what has been achieved in 10 years. That's just incredible if you want to look at that curve. So basically, it's digitization, it's automation, of course, with everybody working remotely and all of that. I think that's a big shift, and we're going to see that trend, of course. I think BNI Online is a great example of what we've been able to achieve. And just to give a small example in our workflows in our office, it was a few years that we said we're going to make everything paperless, but we never really got around it. When this happened, we really were forced in a situation, and within a few days, we literally transformed all our processes to paperless. And the amazing thing is our turnaround times and the results that we're getting are just amazing. So I think in summary, digitization, automation, I think that would be the biggest trend that I'm observing right now.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I wrote an article on this very topic 2 years ago at entrepreneur.com. And I think the genie's out of the bottle now on technology. The integration of technology is a fait accompli in businesses around the world, and learning how to make that happen in your industry. If you're watching this, making that happen in your industry is absolutely critical. I met a futurist about 6 months ago, and he told me a story about being driven around by somebody who picked him up from the airport and took him to the event. This was before COVID. And he was taking phone calls for people that were interested in using his service. And the futurist said, hey, have you thought about maybe putting this online, because people aren't, you can't always take the phone call and close the deal. And he said, no, I could never possibly do that. And he said, the futurist said, not only can you do it, you could actually be charging more. By the way, you're not charging enough for me. You should be charging more money than you're charging. And he said, I can't do that either. And he talked to him about how he could, in fact, charge more by doing 2 different websites, one at a lower price, one at a higher price, and letting people sign up online. And he was really opposed to doing that. I got to tell you, 6-7 months later, after this story, this driver is either out of business or he's on top of it by doing the things that this futurist suggested. I think, out of necessity, the world has moved forward quickly on digitization because of the pandemic, and BNI Online is a great example of that. So, next question. What are the common misconceptions that people have about networking during this time, and how can we combat these misconceptions? Let's go to Lorena.
Well, I will have to confess that I was the first one to say, no, what are you doing? This is crazy. We cannot work online. We can't possibly do networking online. It's not going to work. It's not the same. We need the human touch. We like to see each other and hug each other. And the truth is, although we do miss that part, I would have to say that it was my networkers that I'm in touch with every day. They were the ones that convinced me that this was working and this was working for them. I had a long time BNI member. He's been in the organization for 10 years, and he told me, how come we never thought about this before? This is great. I mean, I don't have to wake up that early, and I don't have to pay for the breakfast. This is fantastic, and I still get referrals. So this is fantastic. I can't believe we didn't think about this before.
Yeah, I love that. And these times certainly have accelerated the time that it's taken us to be able to make these kinds of changes. As I said earlier, you can be in love with what you do, but if you're committed to being in love with the way you do it, you may in fact become irrelevant. And we need to network differently now, and we need to do business differently now. I think years of tradition have conditioned us to think that there's only one way to effectively network, and that's in person. In-person networking is very powerful and is very effective, but the pandemic forced us to think differently. Things like BNI Online has proven that networking is more about what you do than how you do it, and staying true to a proven networking process and structure is key. Whether you're talking about face-to-face or online, it's about staying connected. Next question. What is one piece of practical advice you would give to someone starting out in networking? And let's start with BJ.
That's a great question, Ivan. If you're starting out in networking, you're probably thinking, right, obviously you'd have a need, there's a certain objective that you have. I would imagine it's either to grow your business, to get more referrals, get more sales. It could also be for other reasons, you probably need more support or something. Ask yourself, what are my existing relationships? So, networking does not necessarily mean that you go to meet new people, especially if you're starting out. It means building and deepening your relationships. So look at the network that you have already, your suppliers, your customers, your friends maybe. Reach out and see if you can have a different conversation about them to get to know them better. So these are relationships you already have, you're comfortable with them, but you want to have a different conversation about them. Ask them about their aspirations. What are they proud of? What other interests do they have? And what challenges are they facing? And when you have enough conversations with different people, you start connecting the dots. You come across people who might have a solution for others who are facing challenges, and you can connect it to, and then you become a connector. As you go on that journey, you'll find yourself very easily being able to introduce people to each other, and then you can start meeting new people and do the same. And you really find yourself, if you look back, you'll say, yeah, okay, that's networking. That's what I would suggest if you're starting out new. Look at the existing relationships. It's what Mac said in the beginning, re-engage.
Absolutely. Mac, what are your thoughts?
Ivan, a couple of things comes to mind. One is for folks, if they're starting out networking, is to pick the right type of network. First, identify what our objective is. What is your objective? Is it a social network you're looking for? Is it a network where you're looking at, mentors and counseling? Is it a business network that you're looking for? Ivan, I remember in one of your education earlier, you had said, your effectiveness is, choosing 2 to 3 networks and not more, because for the, ROI goes down if you have too many networks. Another thing is, Ivan, you've always taught us this is network. It's not net sit, net eat. So there is work to be involved. That means allocating at least 2 to 3 hours dedicated to building your network, which will in turn grow your business. So that's one of the things. If you're starting out in networking, identify the right network. And then guys, we need to work on the network. And then once you're starting to work the network, work smart. Don't work hard, just work smart, because you will identify within your network who's got access to your target market. And once you identify these folks, do a virtual one-to-one with them. So start off with the folks that are in connection with your target market. In BNI, we call them contact spheres or power teams. And from there, start working smart, make your life easy, make this fun, and make networking a really productive way to start out networking. Back to you, Ivan.
Yeah, thank you. You know, the media has really been using the term social distancing, and I think that's the wrong term. I think it needs to be physical distancing. We need to be more social than ever. And what BJ and Mac just talked about are some ideas on how to maintain your social network, but to do it in a very safe way. Today, more than ever, you need to be connected to the people that are in your network. Okay, next question. What is the biggest challenge you are currently seeing with business owners, and how can they overcome this challenge? And let's start with Lorena.
My answer is the horse paradigm. Now hear me out. It's going to sound a little weird, but here it goes. Horses can literally die from the pain because their conception of time is very different from us. We remember that we were okay yesterday, and we have some hope that we're going to be okay tomorrow. But horses don't have that. All they know is what's happening right now. All they know is that it hurts right now. And sometimes they give up and they die from the pain. So I would apply this to entrepreneur in the same way. Forget about what was before, and stop waiting around for what's going to be after. You need to make it work today. You need to look at your business and you need to make it work for you today. Forget about yesterday and don't wait around for it to get better in the future. So that would be the mistake that I've seen more often.
The horse paradigm. I love that. That is a great concept. I'm going to borrow it, Lorena. I think you're absolutely right. I think the willingness to change is one of the biggest challenges that I see. I had a president of a BNI chapter a number of months ago ask me what she can do about a member who just didn't want to do online meetings. And I said to her, first of all, I said, look, you know, we have to become comfortable with the discomfort of change right now. And I said, I don't usually say this to people, but tell him that you spoke to me and Ivan said he hates change. I told her, tell him this. And he was an older guy, probably had a lot of gray hair like me. And I said, tell him I hate change. I really do. I'm not a fan. I hate change. The only thing I hate more than change is failure. I really hate failure. So I said, tell him he can change or he can fail. The choice is his. He's got to make that choice. You can't make it for him. He's got to make it. And then tell him if he's willing to make that change, that you'll be there to help him. You'll help him figure out how to do this online thing. And she told him this, and he, you know, he didn't say, yay, I'll change. No, but he said, okay, I'll do it. And he did. And, you know, he stayed very active throughout all of this COVID. He's still an active member, and he was willing to make that change. And that's the thing that people, I think, struggle the most with, is that willingness to change, to be comfortable with discomfort. And BNI certainly helps people be comfortable with the discomfort of this change with online networking. Okay, one more question for all three of you. For one reason or another, many businesses have had serious financial challenges. What advice do you have for them? And let's start with BJ.
We're not all in the same boat, maybe, but we are in the same storm. And I think we've seen people come together. There are people out there who want to help you. People who want to collaborate. So what I would say, if you're facing some challenges, everybody's challenges are different. Speak to somebody, ask for help. I'm actually seeing examples where people are coming together, collaborating. You know, I spoke about reframing earlier and pivoting. There's a whole set of different things that you can do, but it does require you to go out there, allow yourself to be vulnerable. People are understanding and people are willing to help. So it's as simple as that. There will be a solution, and you know you will come out of this. You just need to have that strength, and everything will be fine. So I think that's very important.
Thank you, Lorena.
I would go back to what we were talking earlier about getting a mentor. And here's some practical way that you can do this. There are almost 10,000 BNI chapters out there. There are potentially 10,000 restaurants, 10,000 dentists, 10,000 lawyers. Seek them out. I mean, seek out people that are supposedly your competition, people that are in your same industry, that potentially that perhaps have your same business, and seek counsel, because it's one of them out there has already figured out how to navigate this storm, as BJ was saying. So getting a mentor is probably the best thing that you can do for your business right now. Right now, it's a great time to file the axe and try to think about your business in a different way. So get a mentor or get a peer advisory group. I mean, BNI chapters are great peer advisory groups. There's a ton of knowledge in each and every one of them. Seek them out, and I think that you can find the answer.
Great suggestion. Mac.
Yes, Ivan. I go back to what BJ was saying earlier about reframing. One of my members, he went and pivoted his business. He was in events management earlier, and he used to also have these barcode scanning for when attendees come to know who's visited which stall or which exhibition booth. And being part of the network, he was able to, like Lorena was saying, talk to other mentors. And right now, he's converted his business into like a contact tracing. In the future, all businesses need some kind of registration system when folks enter their store. So he was able to pivot himself, keeping an open mind and being able to not. So the main thing right now is folks right now, they become like a deer in the headlight. They just freeze. It's now's the time to be agile, keep an open mind, talk to mentors, and then really springboard to the next year that's coming up. So that's back to you, Ivan.
Yeah, great suggestion. Pivoting, reinventing yourself, very important. And I know somebody in an event organization as well. They actually do events, and they thought it would be impossible to do it online. And now they're doing it online. And just like BJ's story, they've now broadened to international. So this is great stuff. A lot of what we've talked about today is simple, but it's not always easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. What's easy is saying, yeah, that doesn't apply to me. What's difficult is taking these ideas and applying them to your own particular situation. I really appreciate the great suggestions that all three of you have provided today. I appreciate you taking the time to be here for everyone. For those watching, you've just gotten a briefcase full of information to help you restart the world. Now it's really up to you. It's important for you to reflect on these ideas and really think about how you'll apply them to your own personal situation. Now I'd like to turn over today's live broadcast to BNI's CEO, Graham Weimiller, who has a few comments, announcements, and will close out today's event. Graham?
Thank you very much, Dr. Misner. That was a terrific event. My thanks also, of course, to BJ, Lorena, and Mac. Terrific perspective, ideas, and encouragement for all of us. So really appreciate those insights. And for everybody watching live, these are business leaders from around the world who have worked for decades with business leaders from around the world. So they've seen many patterns, and they're sharing with you patterns of success that you can put to work right now. So thank you all for those terrific words of encouragement and that perspective and those important ideas that we can all put to practice right now. And so want to invite everyone who is watching to think about a business in your community that might be struggling. You have a chance to change the outcome for that business. BNI as an organization is committed to doing exactly that. And Restart the World is all about outreach, and you can help that business have a successful outcome to the current situation. So we invite you to invite that business to participate in BNI's Restart the World program by visiting BNI.com and finding a chapter near them. And BNI Online, as has been noted, has been terrifically productive for business leaders worldwide. Again, over $10 billion in closed business just through the end of August, and it continues to grow. So I want to also invite everyone to BNI's Global Convention. That is November 11th through November 14th. There will be tens of thousands of business leaders there meeting from around the world. It will be a terrific amount of content from global business leaders that you may have already come to know that are global thought leaders. We invite you to take advantage of some of the discounts that are offered on registration. Those are offered if you go to BNI.com. You will learn more about BNI's Global Convention, but we encourage you to reach out to fellow business leaders in your community, invite them to participate and restart the world. And we know that we are better off when we collaborate as business leaders together. And so I want to encourage folks to engage with the different ideas, perspective, and encouragement that's been offered today. And we look forward to seeing you next at BNI's Global Convention, November 11th through 14th. See you there.
Hi, John Maxwell here, and I so look forward to joining the extended BNI network at your Powered by BNI Global Convention this year to help you all restart the world that you live in. It's going to come up on November 11th through 14th, and I'm excited to be one of the headline keynote speakers and to share 3 questions that people are always asking me on how to develop their team. Because as a leader, that's what we do. We develop teams. So I'm excited to be with you, and I'm looking forward to it.